So the moment I hit record on my camera, the heavens opened outside. It's now lashing it down with rain, and it's almost as if the world itself is trying to tell me, don't talk about this one, because you're going to be a massive contradiction. But I'm going to do it, because I love this franchise. Ladies and gentlemen, this is ChuckyWatch episode 5. If you missed the first 4 episodes, then seek them out by Jingo. Because today we're talking about the 5th entry in the Child's Play franchise and the run-up to the release of the 7th, Cult of Chucky. We're talking Seed of Chucky. Now, if you've never seen these movies, don't stick around. Here there be spoilers, but if you don't mind spoilers, hey, join me, won't you? It's a rambling discussion. Here we go. Seed of Chucky. Seed of Chucky is my least favourite in the series, but I don't hate it. Now, for those who don't know, Seed of Chucky is the sequel to Bride of Chucky. It's the second film in sort of the second wave of movies about Chucky and Tiffany. It's her movie too. Seed of Chucky... if Bride of Chucky was a horror comedy, Seed of Chucky is just a comedy that happens to have gore and horror in it. It wildly deviates from what made these characters enjoyable, like lovably evil and hateably funny and other words in the previous movies. It sort of abandons their principles and their character development solely just to tell jokes, and it's really weird. But I can't hate it because it's one of the better looking movies. It's beautifully shot. Oh, excuse me. Oh, wow. Is that going to happen every time I compliment such thing? It's a beautifully shot movie. Seed of Chucky looks gorgeous. It really does. It's Don Mancini's first time in the director's chair. Don Mancini's the guy who wrote all of the films and is sort of like the franchise's daddy, basically. It's the first time he directed one. And from the opening sequence, not the title sequence where a load of sperm are flying through her lady parts to create a baby, no. In the opening sequence of the movie, we get a first-person Chucky encounter. So... we see a present being opened and a little girl lifting something up, and we're seeing it from the point of view of the doll. And I think the doll's gross and they don't know where it came from, and then they throw it in a chest and go to bed. And then the doll gets up after everyone's gone to bed and takes the knife out of the birthday cake, stalks around the house. And it's so well shot. It's amazing, because they're obviously just playing with that trope. You know what a living doll story is. 9 times out of 10 they are, someone receives a mysterious doll. Oh, what is all this about? Oh, it can't be the doll. No, oh, put it away. And then it gets up and it kills people. Like, so, by twisting that and going, yeah, that's the story we'd normally tell a variation of, and it's a story you've seen before. We're not going to do that in this movie, but we are going to give it to you in a completely different way. And it's in first person. It's phenomenal. It's such a good sequence. And it's not Chucky or Tiffany. The doll in question wakes up from his dream, and it is Shitface, who is a ventriloquist prop. He's part of a double act. Sykes, a rock and roll ventriloquist, played by Keith Lee Castle. Which weirds me out, because... so Keith Lee Castle is a brilliant actor, but he's got a very sort of distinct look. Like, he's very, sort of... I mean, he's a gorgeous man, but he's like sort of gaunt face, long hair, like really piercing eyes. So he gets to play a lot of gothy kind of roles and like vampire roles. Like, some of my viewers, some of you lot, if you were CBBC viewers back in the day, you will know Keith Lee Castle, because he was Dracula in Young Dracula. You know him. He's Sykes the ventriloquist. When I first met him, at a Young Dracula screening a few years ago, I was hosting a Young Dracula screening in Liverpool in a cathedral, which was amazing. Like, I was just chatting with him because he was a bit unsure about going up and doing the Q&A, because he's a very sort of sweary guy, and he was sort of understandably like, I've never really had to turn that off so much. I'm worried that I might swear in front of the kids. And I was just sort of trying to reassure him, like, no, don't worry about it. Like, if you want, I'll ask you less questions, and You just feel it, and if you feel like it's a bit too much, don't do the second screening. And in the end, he did the Q&As. I'm so glad he did, because he was great. He's told some amazing stories, and his attitude was really funny, playing off the rest of the cast. But when I first met him, one of the first things I said, well, the first thing I said was, my partner absolutely fancies the pants off of you. Can I get your autograph for her? Because it'll really embarrass her. And it did. But then the second thing I said was, is it wrong that the first thing that came to my mind when I met you just now was hearing you in a Cockney accent going, "You're pissing your pants!" Because it's from Cedar Chucky, and he went, oh right, thanks mate, you set a bar. And I went, no, you don't understand, like, I love those movies, and you being in one of them really made me smile. Plus it's my favourite line from that movie, which it is, "You're pissing your pants, you're pissing your pants." It's just so weird. So we meet Shitface, his doll, who Sykes picked up when he was visiting America. He was in New Jersey a few years ago, 6 years ago, I think. It's of course the baby from the end of Bride of Chucky. Shitface has grown up not knowing who he is or where he's from, but he believes he's Japanese and his parents must be from Japan because he has a tattoo or a branding on his arm that says "Made in Japan." Haha, very funny. So when he sees on the TV these two dolls in an Access Hollywood-like movie behind-the-scenes thing with "Made in Japan" on their wrist, he's like, "Oh, they're my mum and dad." So he escapes and he goes to the UK. He goes from the UK to the US. Because over in Hollywood, they're making a movie based on the urban legend of Chucky and Tiffany the Living Dolls. That's right, 6 years turned you into an urban legend in the Child's Play universe. So, yeah, I'm assuming, considering how they look, the urban legend is based off of the Jesse and Jade stuff. Does this mean Jesse and Jade were arrested or detained? Well, based on this comic book series, no. Jesse and Jade got away from the events of Bride of Chucky relatively unscathed. Although this is set after Cedar Chucky, so maybe they're recently out of jail. But, nerd! Just call me Whitehurst. So, because Chucky's scarred up. Basically, he was shot and probably is in an evidence locker somewhere at the end of the last one. She was burned to a crisp and then exploded giving birth. So, the Chucky and Tiffany in this movie are Hollywood props. In a movie called, what's it called? Chucky Goes Psycho. And I'm glad he didn't, but I still would have admired if Don Mancini had called Curse of Chucky, Chucky Goes Psycho, just because we all would have been like, wait, what? Is this the movie? Never mind. So these two look really clean and stylized in this film. Like, they look very different from how they did in the previous one. Chucky not so much, because it's the basic design, but put onto like a good guy-esque face, with cleaner plastic, and the wounds aren't real, they're all fake. But Tiffany, like, sort of looks like they've taken her and done an animated series version of her. Like, what's something about Tiffany, and I mean no offence by this, something about Tiffany is she's got quite a scary face in Bride of Chucky, and in this, she's got a more soft, sort of smooth face. It's still a cool design, but I sort of miss the little snarl. This doll's a bit closer to the Bride of Chucky look. I mean, there it is. You can see it there. There's Bride. But then again, maybe it's part of Tiffany's character because she's softer in this one. Tiffany isn't really interested in killing to the point where she wants to give up being a killer and just live a life. And they find out they have a kid, and suddenly Tiffany's like, I want what's best for our daughter. Because Shitface is undecided. Shitface has no genitals. Just a doll crotch. Whereas these two obviously don't, because they've done the do. So, Shitface doesn't know if he's a boy or if she's a girl. But at the same time, like, feels like both. So there's a wonderful message of acceptance and being happy and pleased with who you are in this movie. There really, really is. The problem is, it's told through the son of two murderous dolls, and one of those murderous, that son of the murderous dolls' personality, one of his two personalities, because it turns out to be a split personality, is a murderous doll as well. So it's like, there was a good message here, and you kind of screwed it up. So, yeah, doesn't really work. But Glenn and Glenda are an interesting character added to the mix. They have a lot of fans. People who really enjoy sort of the more absurd comedy in Bride and really enjoy Seed. And Billy Boyd, who voices them, does a great job. Like, does a really, really good job, because you do sympathise with this character, and you do kind of like them. But they're just one of the many things in this film that don't quite work, I think, the way it was intending. One thing that does sort of work is their relationship, the production's relationship with Jennifer Tilly was obviously so strong after Bride, that Jennifer Tilly is a character in this movie. She's starring as Tiffany in the movie Chucky Goes Psycho. Because of course! So, when it comes to these guys like being reawoken, because Glenn's got the heart of Damballa, they decide like, right, I'm going to transfer my soul into Jennifer Tilly, and I'm going to transfer my soul into Redman, who's a rap artist I'm not familiar with, but he's a lot of fun in this movie. He's fun. He's embracing the daftness of it. Who's directing a movie about the Virgin Mary, and Jennifer Tilly wants the role, and she's going to sleep with him to get the role. It's what? But Chucky's going to transfer his soul into Redman, and then Redman gets cut, and he's going to transfer his soul into the chauffeur. It's a farce. Seed of Chucky's a farce. It's a Chucky movie if it were just stupid. But the thing is, it's enjoying itself the whole time, so you can't quite fault it. And the best way to describe it is watch the Chris Nolan Dark Knight trilogy, but randomly, between 1 and 2 or 2 and 3, watch the Adam West Batman the movie. It's a great movie, and it's damn entertaining, but it is so tonally jarring from the other 3, and yet it's still clearly about the same character in the world. That's what Seed of Chucky is. It's the red-haired stepchild. No offense to people with red hair, it's a generic expression, and it also makes sense in this case, because Chucky has red hair, and so does Glenn/Glenda. Anyway, it's the black sheep, it's the odd one out. But it owns its bizarreness. Like, Hannah Spear is Joan, Jennifer Tilly's assistant. And that in itself is kind of surreal, because you're like, wait, sorry, Hannah from S Club? Because this was sort of not too long after that period, so it was really disarming. She's a fantastic actress, and she's brilliant, and I love her in other stuff I've seen her in, she's been fun, she's really good, but it was jarring the first time I watched this. However, she's having a blast. She loves it. She gets one of the coolest deaths in a Child's Play movie ever. Jennifer Tilly's playing a BBC Extras version of herself. Like, she's just egotistical and a prick, and obsessed with like her looks, but secretly eating loads on the side, and then complaining that she's getting too frumpy for roles, and sleeping her way into pictures, and like getting off with her chauffeur, who actually really likes her. 90% of his lines are just, Jennifer, I love... and then he doesn't get to say it when he gets killed. Oh god, it's odd. It's so odd, but everyone's buying into it. Everyone's buying into it and having a blast. And you can tell with Brad Dourif, he's having fun too. And I don't know what he thinks of the film, but playing Chucky in this, Chucky's outrageous in this. Like, he's just quipping. He's Freddy Krueger at this point. He's just quipping all over the place. There's a bit where like they're on the road and they knock Britney Spears off the road, off the highway in her car, and it blows up, and he goes, "Whoops, I did it again." And you're like, how does he even know who that is? But you know what? Whatever, quips. Let's get into the deaths, because the deaths in this are, like I say, it's a visually beautiful movie, and the deaths. This is where the deaths, like in the last one, get a bit more artsy, like the way they're shot. They're shot as like, hey, it's a death sequence, so it ain't gonna be straightforward. It's gonna look really cool. So what we got? We got his first death. First death is Tony Gardner, who's the head puppeteer on a bunch of the Child's Play movies. He's the puppeteer for Chucky Goes Psycho. They wrap some fishing wire around his neck and yank it from both sides, and his head flies up in the air and then lands on the floor. That's shot really, really stylized. There is the bit where they kill... who's next? Is Redman next? I think chronologically Redman might be next. Tiffany guts him under the dining table whilst Jennifer's in the other room, and he looks down and he just sees all of his own guts spilling out on the floor through a glass table. It's just a little slip. Britney Spears gets knocked off the highway. John Waters is in this. I mean, that confirms how batshit mental this movie. John Waters is in it because he loves the movies. And they were like, "Do you want to get killed by Chucky?" Yeah, I'd love to be killed by Chucky. So he's in it as a really sleazy paparazzo follows Jennifer Tilly to her home. Starts taking photos. Like through a window of her getting off a red man and then getting hit in the head by Tiffany with a trophy. And Chucky's silhouette in the bathroom as he's providing a sperm sample for the voodoo pregnancy later on in the movie. What? He just goes, masturbating midgets, and then taking photos. And then Chucky sees that he's taking the photos, so him and Glenn follow on. And John Waters' death is, again, gloriously stylised. Like, the shots in that scene are really well put together, because it's in the development room, so it's blood red. The whole room is blood red, and everyone's lit blood red. Chucky's like going to jump on him. He's hanging upside down from a shelving unit, and the shot sort of looks up from John Waters' head to an upside down Chucky, and the camera spins, so you can see Chucky sort of the right way up with his hair dangling, the knife in his mouth, and he's like. Rrr. Glenn pushes John Waters out of the way, and he hits the shelf, and some of the bloody sulfuric acid falls on him, and half his face melts away, and he just sits there dying slowly. It's like, this is stylised as hell. Yeah, the chauffeur gets stabbed. And then Chucky and Tiffany's deaths. Tiffany gets an axe to the head from Chucky. Because his storyline in this is he just going along with it for the whole movie. He's just going along with, yeah, cool, I'll be Red Man. Yeah, cool, whatever. Yeah, I'll be alright. Wait, you killed Red Man, who am I going to be now? Alright, I'll be the chauffeur. Cool, yeah, whatever. And then at the end he flips his shit and just goes, no, do you know what? As a doll, I'm infamous. Like, I was a killer before, now I'm like a legend. I'm Chucky the doll, Chucky, the killer doll, and I dig it! And you're like, what? This goes back to what I was saying about number 2. Number 2, he's enjoying being a doll, but he still knows he's going to be a human by the end of the story, or at least he thinks he is. In this one, he's just going, yeah, no, I'm a doll now, I'm a doll, that's fine, I'm a doll. Even though they've got the heart down baller, and I'm going to transfer him into anybody. He could go in and out of the doll for all he cares, but, I don't know, it's just so weird, it's, ugh. Then again, in the 6th one, he seems to be being mailed to people as a doll, so he can commit murders and get revenge on certain people, so it's like, maybe he has embraced it, but in this it just seems really odd, the way it's done. I don't know, you fucking alright now? But see, he axes Tiffany in the head, and then Glenn has a kung fu fight with him because he's from Japan. And then he cuts his dad up. You'll chip off the old block! And just clocks both of his limbs off, with his arms, and he takes his legs off as well. And he cuts his head off, and that's the end of Chucky. For now. Because there's a little tag at the end. Jennifer Tilly is now the home of Tiffany's soul. She keeps the Tiffany doll on a shelf as a keepsake. Chucky's arm is open because the baby that Jennifer Tilly gives birth to are twins. So there's a Glenn and Glenda, and Glenda's apparently horrible, and Glenn's lovely. And Glenn gets a birthday present, and severed arm of Chucky that goes to choke him, and then the credits roll. It makes no sense. This comic and Hack Slash vs. Chucky, which is set before this, do actually kind of answer what happened next for Chucky. And the end of this hints at something I think is in the 7th one as well. But we'll get into that on the 7th one if that's true. So yeah, Seed of Chucky, best moment. The thing I like about this movie the most is the balls it has. It just decides to be stupid and weird and farcical. And I can't fault it for that. It is also, up to this point, it's the best looking Child's Play movie. As far as like favourite moment... I don't know if I have a favourite moment. I think just the opening sequence, the first person sequence. Glenn's nightmare. But it's odd. You guys made an odd movie. But it's also, as of now, the last outing for these two together, looking kind of like this. Because next time, Tiffany's human. And Chucky's got a clean face. Or has he? We'll talk about that tomorrow. Over on my channel. With the Curse of Chucky video, and then the day after back here we will have our Cult of Chucky review, because we'll finally have seen it. Let me know your thoughts down below. What do you think of Bride of Chucky? What do you think of Seed of Chucky? What do you think of this little mini era for the Chucky movies? And if you want to see the previous episode, I'll be here the day after this video goes up, and I'll see you later. Masturbating midgets!